All right, I think we're set up and ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Hello and welcome. It is time for the first of two preseason races here, evaluation races, if you will. The first of which is here in Sochi. It is time for the Russian Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name is Fallen Monkeys or Eric, joined in the commentator's booth once again here, back for another season with Jamie. Jamie, how you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you, mate. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Really, honestly, I'm excited to kick things off here for season 6, even if it is a little unofficial. Not the official start of the season yet, but still preseason. We've got some racing action, at least as far as we're concerned here in the virtual world here of ISRL. F1 is back, and you know what? With the real life off season, I've been itching for this, and I'm really excited. And you can see here, I mean, looking at the mini map, a very busy beginning of short qualifying here. I've got Calvin, I think, leading the charge here on his out lap, nearly approaching the end of the lap to get set on his flying lap. Jamie, do you want to take us through to kick things off here today?
Yeah, sure, why not? So coming into penultimate corner, it's very important to set it up for the last corner as well. You can very easily lose traction in the final corner. So here we go then for a lap 3.8 kilometers around Russia. DRS enabled there for this straight, and this is formerly known as turn 1. Don't feel like a turn in Formula 1 cars these days, but that's turn 1. As we approach the heavy braking zone into turn 2, it's important to get it absolutely spot on to hook up these corners, take a lot of curve for the second. And oh, we lost traction there, and that's his lap potentially over then. So Calvin, too eager to get on the traction, to get on the throttle there, which caused him to lose traction and caused him wheel spin, so that's his lap over.
A little unfortunate for Calvin there, trying to get a little bit of a push. I'm trying to find somebody else who's running a lap. I think that Haas, that looks to be Coxey, who should still be on a lap right now as the, well, for the moment, set a purple sector 1 here. But it's a very busy track here to kick things off. Not something we see too often here, especially in Division 1. I know some drivers like to wait a little bit before heading out. Normally we'll see this near the end of the session, but could we maybe see weather play into a factor? I always like to bring up the weather factor, bring in the chaos here. But down the back corner comes Coxey right now. You can see Calvin getting out of the way very wisely here. Purple second sector for Coxey for the time being here in that Haas. Only a few corners to go here to before we get the benchmark of this track for this preseason testing event here. Coming around the penultimate corner, riding it in 4th gear, quickly on the power, and the final corners he just very quickly down into 3rd, up into 4th, and it's a 31.1, and I'd like to think we're probably going to see some much quicker times here as the session plays off. Already Nathan JB setting that provisional pole position time, but as I'm trying to find somebody on a lap, I mean...
sorry to interrupt, but I think somebody just spoke without a turn 3. I was on board with Coxey, but somebody sped. I was on board with Coxey, then
I think that was Rotation, who he's in the Williams right now. I think it was Rotation who had a spin, going a little bit slow, sticking to the outside there of what is turn 4, just allowing some of the quicker drivers to go through.
It probably was Rotation because I was on board with Coxey, then I was going on board with somebody else, and just as I turned to the next person, I saw somebody spin at turn 3, at turn 4, so that's the most common place to spin there. If you're going to lose it, you're going to lose it there through turn 3 and turn 4 when you apply the throttle. But good lap time from Dan in P1 with a 30.8, just a few hundreds quicker than Killer Blue in P2. Walter on those medium compound tyres, put in a storming performance again with a 30.8, the highest medium runner so far, so he's done a fantastic job on those medium compound tyres.
Yeah, running really strong here, continuing to show his strength and dominance here in ISRL is Wouter, the lead medium tire runners, but still got to give credit with Dan. 130.8 on the softs, provisional pole position time here, still in early stages, but a very good time to put up on the board here. And, I mean, for a driver who, at least for me, is a little bit of an unknown, I don't know too much about Dan, really looking to be on the pace here is now Calvin and QVR Campbell actually setting a 130.4. So it looks like the McLaren team here is looking really strong in these stages of this qualifying session.
Yep, I know Campbell, known him for a long way back, and he's very quick, so watch out for him as well. As you said, both McLarens put in a good performance. So 30.4, I was on board with Campbell in the last sector. He made a slight mistake coming into the final corner, so he could have found a bit more time, but nevertheless, he still put up a provisional pole by 3/10 ahead of Calvin, so good job showing so far by Campbell in P1.
Yep, and I do think by the end of the session, I'm expecting low 130s, maybe drivers breaking into the 129s if they can really get on the pace here. Possibly as an estimated time here for some of the, I guess I'll say the quicker times near the top of the timing tables here once we get to the end of the session. I'm just peeking with RJ right now as he's looking to put up a lap. Possibly, no, actually. Scratch that. He's abandoned that lap and decided he was going to jump into the pits. So going to get a fresh set of tires on and try again. Let's see, Larkin had an invalidation somewhere along the way, so he's going to be probably diving into the pits himself there, being on 2-lap-old soft tires. I don't think he's going to go for one more here on that set, and no, very wisely you can see diving, heading into the pit lane, and he's going to put on a fresh set here to go for another lap. But you can see it looks like as qualifying is continuing, a lot of those drivers who maybe decided they wanted to try the mediums, it looks like they're switching for the soft tires, looking to be on that fastest compound. And if I'm honest, Jamie, correct me if you think otherwise, but I don't blame them at all here. I think given the tire wear, given the way this track normally tends to run, it is a very easy one-stop tire wear, never really much of a worry. I do think you're, for the most part, much better off going for the soft tires here if you're shooting for a top 10 here in qualifying.
Yep, I agree with you. Top 10. If you get in the top 10, you're on a soft compound tyre. It's very crucial for track position as well. So soft, medium, or medium to soft. So expect the hard tyres being used unless obviously there's an early incident going on and they want to go to the end of those hards, unless there's a safety car. That'll bring it back into play. But I'm on board with Isa Kush if you are as well, because he's about to start his first flying lap as he heads down into turn 2. Let's see how he takes it. Breaking a black box, taking the curve nicely through there, smoothly on the throttle there. You see the rear just stepping out just a bit as he applied the throttle. Coming around this long left-hander. Used to lift off these days, but in these modern cars, you can go flat out, take it all the way to the right, get a good exit through there, use the curve, but try not to go wide. You almost invalidated that lap time. Brake it just before the 50-meter board, hit the apex through there, run out wide to use all the track on the exit. Most crucial part of the track is sector 2 because it's a race changer as well, because you can easily pick up so many or warnings and penalties. You don't want to do that as well. Here, you can cut the curb on the inside that sausage orange curb and bounce your car off the track. That's a killer as well. But takes it nicely through sector 2, negotiates that well. DRS enabled for the next opportunity for overtaking. Down at this heavy braking zone coming up, where Carlos Sainz crashed in 2015. 4.3 in the middle sector, braking before the 100-meter board. Try not to go too wide through here. Bring it into the left, we've got a car ahead of us, he gets nicely out the way for us. These two corners can be quite difficult. It's very easy to lose the rear end and on traction as well. You can be very nice and patient through there, slowing fast out. Nice and easy for Isa Kush coming around the penultimate corner. Let's see how he takes it. He locks up a bit, goes a little bit deep. You can see the car just started to go on him just a bit. Let's see what lap time he'll set. And it's a 30.5 despite making a few errors in those final two corners. But total P's, the car behind Isa Kush, goes quickest with a 30.3. So that's a good lap there from total P's.
Yep, very good lap from Pease indeed, snagging that provisional pole, but like you were saying, Isaac Kush still setting a very good lap, albeit really around the last two corners, really seemed to be fighting the car, slight little mistakes, a little lock up. I think the curb slightly unsettling that rear end as well on the exit of the penultimate corner, so there is still a little bit more time to be found for the Alfa Romeo driver here today, but still a very solid lap time up into P3 for now. I'm sure definitely might not be complaining too much about that, but I can see Campbell, he's just crossed the line here, starting his second lap. I think looking to improve on that 30.4, see if he can maybe snag that provisional pole position right back from Total P's here, as you can see, keeping a very tight line through turn 4 there. That's exactly what you want to be doing here on this track to maximize the speed, use the downforce to the advantage. But oh no, has an invalidation. I think he just went a little bit too much to the outside on the exit of, I believe that's turn 5 there. So he's going to have to try again, as now we've got, once again, lots of drivers here out on track for their laps here.
Yes, indeed. Walter and Drew reserve. Drew just came back in the pit lane, but Walter, they both validated their lap times. I think Carmentis did as well. I think Larkin's on a lap time. I think he's coming around almost the penultimate corner. There he is then. Larkin, he was 2:10 up last time I saw in that middle sector. Let's see if he can find more time in the Aston Martin. And he comes around the final corner now, so let's see how he takes it. Very nicely, and he goes up into P14. He improves by 500, so lost a little bit of time in that last sector there. It's Carmentis on a lap. He's improving by 2/10 his car mentalist. See how he takes these two slow corners here. As the gear clip the apex. Same for this one as well. Short shifted to reduce that wheel spin on exit. Very nice through there, through those two corners. Coming into the penultimate corner we go. Doesn't go deep like some people do. And coming around the final corner, and this lap time will be 30.9 up into P11, improves by 2/10. And there's quite a few cars out of track in these late stage qualifying. We have 5 minutes and 55 seconds left to go.
Yep, still a little bit of leeway if there is, if you do make a mistake. As oh, who is that? That's Killer Blue, who's out of qualifying, and it looks like if I can find the correct Haas, yes, there is Killer Blue right there, right before the exit of the pit lane is where Killer Blue lost. I'm thinking quite possibly might have missed the corner before that. I guess if you even want to call it a straightaway here, I think this corner right here that you're seeing rotation go through, and what did you see?
Sorry to interrupt, but Campbell coming through the fast left-hander before the straight, he went a bit aggressive on the throttle there and spun the rear. He hit the wall, but with his rear wing, so he managed to get away with damage free there. So Campbell has ruined that lap, and I'll come back in the pit lane as well.
Yeah, very crucial. No front wing damage on that car either. So if it was just the rear wing, it's probably not the end of the world. He can just get those tires switched, and he should still have enough time to get one more lap. But still, a bit of a crucial mistake here. Let's see. Let's switch over to Calvin. Actually, purple in the second sector, 3.5 tenths up on his time. So yeah, definitely looking to be a good lap. I'll jump on board with him as he's coming through the still challenging sector 3 here. Approaching what remains of Killer Blue, just a tire left on track there that the marshals didn't bother picking up. But around the final corner, more importantly here, there goes Calvin. Lost a little bit of time there in Sector 3, it seemed. Only a 130.5, but still good enough for 5th place here in this qualifying session with about 4 minutes and counting to go here.
Those 2/10s he lost, he could have been on par or beaten P, so lost a bit of time in that last sector. And rotations on a lap, he hasn't set a lap time yet, neither does RJ, who's still in the pit lane, so rotation coming through the third sector now. Let's see how he takes it. Let's hope he has a better season this season, because I know, not in this league, but in other leagues as well, he has been struggling. It's that lock-up on entry through there, but managed to correct it. He comes out of that corner, coming through the penultimate corner. Let's see how he takes it. Goes deep and he goes off the track. That's the validation. No, it's not actually. He managed to keep it, but makes his way, and it is P13 for him with a 30.9. Lost a bit of time in that last sector there. Just pushed it a bit too hard.
Yeah, and albeit thankfully no invalidation for rotation, as he was able to at least put a time on the board. But I think at that point the damage was already done. Going wide around that corner, not being able to take the ideal line into the final corner. So of course that is still a little bit of time that's left on the board. But if he was going for another lap, had an invalidation there, and with the clock ticking down, I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to get one more lap in, unless he does set it on this same set of tires here.
I can't see how many minutes left because there's yellow flags in the way, but about 2 minutes and
There we
45.
go.
What ball with Isaac Kush? He coming through turn 5, he made a mistake, he clipped the inside curb, caused his car to settle, and he did the same thing before the straight for the DRS, the second straight, so he lost a bit of time, but still he's improving, so let's see what he's like. They're coming through these two corners here. Takes it very nicely, gets up to 4th gear immediately. This is his last lap because he's running out of fuel. Gonna make this one count, coming through the penultimate corner. Nicely done there, and through the final corner we go, nice and smooth on the exit. Straight onto the line, and it's P1 with a 30.2, wow. He did make 2 mistakes that I saw that lap time, that cost him a little bit, but still goes provisional pole. That's a fantastic lap time from Isa Kush there.
Yeah, definitely a good lap type indeed. Knocking Peas off of that provisional pole by about 1/10 of a second, but you can see Peas on a lap right now, looking to take that right back, as well as a couple other challengers leaving the pit lane on their outlaps right now, seeing if they can challenge. But for Izat Kush, given his, given that he doesn't have much fuel left in that car, there was a couple mistakes, but for him, he's gonna have to hope that that's good enough, and hope that just the time itself is gonna maybe force a couple errors into some of these other runners here. But we'll see how it's going. Pease came close to some traffic there as he was on a lap, including his teammate that seems to be leading a pack of cars. He's got more traffic that he is approaching. Best case scenario for Pease is that he can clear it all through this straightaway with DRS, but we'll see how it's going to play out. Who's that ahead of him? That's Nathan, who's on an outlap. As well. So, you know, he's going to get out of the way, as you can see right there, but trying to find the right spot, maybe helping Pease in the process, giving him a little bit of a tow down that back straight. You can see Carmental is getting a little bit close there as he's getting back on track, but doesn't look like it would have negatively affected the lap too much here. Only a few corners to go now, so can he nail the final sector, this final corner here? Let's see as he crosses the line, a little bit of a slide. Does go faster, but he invalidated right before the line, I believe, on that final corner, so the lap didn't count.
That is a killer, because I was on board with Pease the whole lap, but the way he was attacking the corners, just flicking it in there, having trusted the car, despite encountering traffic, he still trusted the car, but that final corner just caught people out. The whole lap itself just unfolded, but I don't think he would have beat Isa Kush, because it said as 2.67. and Isa Kush is a 2.55, so it would have been about 100 slower, but still that would have been a good lap time from Pease. But Nathan JB currently sat in P3, and he's improving in the first sector by a few hundreds. He's got a Ferrari in the way, hopefully he'll get out of the way for him unless he's on a flying lap. I think that car it's not Jamie, it's Car Mentalist. Is he on a lap too? Yeah, he is on a lap, so you best hope that Car Mentalist don't make a mistake and get his way, because Nathan JB is right up the rear of him as well, so interested to see where Walter is. He's in the same part of the track where Nathan is, just further behind, so we'll keep on board with Nathan if we can find him. There he is. Let's see what his middle sector like. A bit of a tow, and Car Mentalist got a tow from his teammate, so a bit of a double tow there from Nathan JB. He's approaching Car Mentalist. If this was real life, it would have affected his turbulent wake of the car in front, giving a disturbance for the car in front as well. So good job, Mr. Game. And Car Mentalist and Nathan, they're making their way through those two corners. Now coming to the penultimate corner. Take it nice through there. A bit of a wobble on go from Nathan. Car Mentalist crosses the line. That's P9. Nathan goes on pole. It's a 30.211. Fantastic lap time, despite getting a little bit hold up in that final sector there. Still managed to pull it together as Walter goes across the line. It's P3 with a...
Yeah, sorry, Walter up to P3 with the 30.3. Pease had an invalidation, so that's why he dove into the pits there. But now as Campbell's coming around the final corner, now does he have what it takes here right at the end of the session? Yes, he does. A 130 flat just about to snatch that pole position up away from Nathan JB by about 0.2 of a second, right as the clock struck midnight there.
Wow, what a qualified session. Good job from Campbell as well, because he did 2 laps on those set of softs, so he must have invalidated one of them and made a mistake, but pulled it right at the bag. Did Campbell. Very good job. Very good job from Nathan JB as well, because I know he's been struggling recently, but hopefully he's got it all together now. Let's see what he can do.
Yep, and a lap like that from Nathan, it goes to show he does have the pace, but like you said, last season, definitely one to forget from him. A little bit of a struggles here and there, and also just getting... I'll be honest, I think probably the worst luck of any driver on the Division 1 grid last season. So I do hope that that side of things, the luck side, can work out a little bit better for him, for Nathan. But already there, when you set qualifying runs like that, and you put yourself in one of those higher ranking positions, it does help keep luck around your side, having to maybe battle less working your way up the field, and you can focus more on just pushing the car and trying to get that ideal finish.
Indeed. Very good job there. Nathan JB as well. I don't think this is one of his favourite particular tracks, but I'm interested to see how he does this season. Hopefully he can show some of that pace he's been missing ever since he switched the wheel, and try and different assists as well, or turning the assists off. But nice and sunny then for our drivers. They'll be thanking for that, because it's very difficult to overtake in the rain. I've seen it myself. I've commentated being in a wet race, and it's so hard to overtake no matter where you are. But thankfully it's a wet race. Might see a massive DRS train, but hopefully it'll be a good race for pre-season.
Yep, fingers crossed that we get a good race here, and of course, I always mention this here, watch out for Turn 1. I know here at the Sochi Autodrome, Turn 1 is just that slight little, that right-handed kink, but it feels like that right-handed kink is cursed here in ISRL. It seems like there's always at least one incident every time we come here around Turn 1, Turn 2, dating all the way back to Season 1. But hopefully here in Division 1 that's not the case, and drivers can make it through safely through the first few corners here, as Campbell leading the charge here on that formation lap before we kick things off officially for 27 laps here around the Sochi Autodrome. Like we said, Nathan JB, a strong qualifying for him here, starting on the front row of the grid in second, with the, I guess we'll say, the two championship rivals of Season 5, Izat Kush and Wouter, starting third and fourth on the second row of the grid there. Then you've got the two REL drivers, Pease and Calvin, running fifth and sixth, with XL Larkin and Jamian 7th and 8th, with AJ and Carmentalist rounding out the top 10, all on the soft tires, unsurprisingly, given that is where they set their quickest lap time in qualifying with. Now Dan, best of the rest in P11, he's opted to go for a set of soft tires as well here, with Tin Can in 12th on the mediums, Killer Blue Rotation, Manja Viking, and Mark also all choosing the medium tires here with their free choice. But Jerome Visser way down in 17th, and I didn't notice Jerome all that much in qualifying. But a bit of a surprise seeing him as far down the order as he is there. But on the soft tires, looking to gain a few positions with the two Haas drivers of Coxie and XLRJ rounding out the P18 and P19 on the mediums.
Let's see what Jurivisa can do. We know he's got good pace, and he's on the soft compound tyres, of course, so he's looking to get a very aggressive stint and then try and regain some of those positions on those medium runners, starting with Tinkan in P12, so that's his target at least. But yeah, like you said earlier on, very surprised to see Jurivisa down there P17. Maybe it's just the characteristics of these tracks not suited him, but there was 27 laps to go ahead of us as the drivers start to line up on the grid then. It'll be very interesting. Can Campbell take the lead of the race, or will it be Isaac Kush or Nathan gaining from the slipstream behind? Because starting third or second can benefit you, as I've seen recently in the past.
Yep, and I think it was Max Verstappen, I think, saying it for the real life Russian Grand Prix, that he'd rather start in third than in second, so that he can get the toe into turn 2 right off the start. So we'll see how that's going to work out for the likes of Izat and even Wouter in fourth. But as the drivers are set up to 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights here, and the lights are off, and we are racing in rush, as it looks to be a good start from everybody. Campbell covering very well, but Isaac Kush getting a nice run off the start as he's going for the lead here on the outside. Nathan fighting back, though, as he's got the toe on Campbell side by side into turn 2 now, and looks like everybody's making it through relatively safely. 2 by 2, nearly 3 wide, though. Izat, Wouter, and Pease having a little bit of a battle. This whole top 5, a little bit of a gaggle of cars, but it looks like they've gotten themselves sorted out here, as everybody's seemingly making it through safe through the first few corners. Oh no, what happened to Calvin?
I have no idea. I just saw an LP just go for the background. He's rejoined down in 82th place. But high rotation, who was spun coming through turn 6. But what a good start from Campbell there. Placed his car in the right position. It also helped that Nathan and Isak Kush were fighting. Isak Kush down to P5. They're getting on the wrong parts of the tracks because Nathan was on the inside. But that's a scary moment what I saw for Pease, Walter and Calvin. They were going 3 abreast into turn 1. Calvin got squeezed and luckily he did lose his part for win there. But good start from Campbell so far. Nathan JB maintained his second place as Walter makes his way up into P3 ahead of Pease and Isak Kush and the rest of them.
Yeah, but it looks like Wouter thought about maybe peeking for an overtake here as it looks like Carmentalus, Drone, and Coxey into a bit of a battle. Carmentalus, I saw, lost 2 positions there. Now Killer Blue, I think that was going down the inside here as the battles are just going strong here in this first lap. And you can see a couple drivers needing to make a quick pit stop here.
And that is Jaroon as well. He's in the pit lane, he was in P10, and now he's having to make a pit stop. I wonder if he made contact with those guys. We'll find out as he makes his way into the pit box. And yes, it's a change for a wing, so he got caught up in those first lap shenanigans, and it's 4 people, car mentalist as well, in the pit lane.
Yeah, very unfortunate for those drivers. Carmentalist, Rotation, Dan and Jerome all having to take a pit stop. For Jerome, trying to use those soft tires to his advantage, but quickly going to have to call an audible here and put on a set of medium tires, go a little bit longer. I think further down the order, battling for what is, well, essentially not the wooden spoon, but further down the order you've got XLRJ and Calvin that were close, getting very close one another. As far as the leaders are concerned, it's still Campbell who's leading the charge, and you can see now down in 7th is AJ Wuhan putting pressure on XL Larkin as they're trying to keep up with this group of top 5 runners here. That I think, Jamie, you know as well as I do, that those top 5 runners, they've all got the pace to truly just run away if they so choose. So very important here for the first few laps that I would say AJ and XL Larkin stay within that DRS range and not get too caught up fighting themselves to try to keep up with this top 5 group here.
Yes, indeed. And look at Coxey up into P9, the highest medium runner, starting from P18 on the grid. He's already made 9 places, keeping away from all those incidents. So good job from him. And he's 7 times behind Jamie, and so he's catching a soft runner. But like you said, Larkin, it's very important those two don't battle too early because Larkin is just hanging around that 1 second area. But obviously he's got that DRS now to get him, drag himself back in.
Yep, and very crucial as well, knowing that Jamie and down in 8th, he's outside of that DRS range, so it can really help this, well, the top 7 stick with the top 5 and allow a little bit of breathing room here, knowing that, like I said, Jamie down in P8 outside of DRS, so he's going to have a little bit more difficulty.
He's just got off the track as well.
Oh, no.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, no worries. If you catch it, feel free to say it, please.
Yeah, luckily got away with that one. He was so close to the wall. And just managed to keep it back on track because Jamie, and he's under pressure so far. But like you said, he's got off, or he's exceeded track limits again. But he's under massive pressure now from Coxey. He just needs to keep his head and try and regain back that form. Calvin, first man to pick up a penalty down in P14. He's still on those soft compound tyres, so he did not opt to pit. So he's still looking to try and gain back those positions he lost at the very start. Meanwhile, back at the front, no moves being done so far. They're just all stuck in that one big DRS train from 1st to 7th, and there's Jamie with 2 seconds behind with Coxey at his tail. Further back is any moves? Is Calvin close enough? Not close enough on this occasion to try and get past
no, and that
RJ.
was Campbell going for a little bit of a spin. Sorry, just caught that through the top 7 as he was taking that little off-camber right-handed corner there. And he's struggling to get back on track here, as now he does. Going to have to get back up to speed, but the damage is done, as that's Campbell down in 14th. And he's going to have to take a pit stop here. Is that going to be a wing change for him? I don't think so, but maybe at least getting off of those tires at the very least. Now P's going for a move, and and P's and Nathan come in contact with one another, and that allows Wouter and Isak Kush to gain a couple spots. XL Larkin as well, and AJ up into P4 now.
Wow, 3 of the big guys just been taken out in the space of a few minutes. AJ, P's, Nathan, and Campbell as well. So I have no idea what happened, because I was on board with Pease and all of a sudden I think he turned left a bit too early because Nathan was still there. So I think he just might have switched to the left too early. And I believe Pease has got full wind damage. I'm not quite sure about Nathan JB and go back on board with him down in P14. Nevertheless, he's on those soft compound tyres and he'll have to pit early as well. So Pease just get out of the way for everybody because he knows this is the part where you require the most downforce. You don't want to hold up and ruin anybody else's race. But Coxey is all over the back of JB, but further up is Isa Kush close enough to make a move on Walter. Looks like he is not using that EMS just yet, just saving it for the race. And down the inside he goes on Walter, goes a bit deep but still makes the corner, and he's ahead of to go to first place.
Yep, and Coxey also getting the overtake down on Jamie here, as now Jamie feeling the pressure of Mark in the Aston Martin. But of course, Sector 3, not the easiest spot to get an overtake done unless there is a mistake from a driver. But if I go back to that incident that we were talking about, I think it was exactly that, of course, between Pease and Nathan, that I think Pease got the overtake done, and it just looked like he slotted himself back into the racing line, maybe just half a second or less too quickly, as now Wouter actually retaking the lead of the race from Isaac Kush with DRS, and now Larkin getting involved as he takes the inside line. That's Isaac Kush down in third, and is Larkin going to maybe go for an overtake here? Thought about it, but thought better of it, as he's going to remain in second. And you can see now Isaac and AJ, the two Alfa Romeos, starting to put pressure now as they get to run at least as a team tandem now in third and fourth. Maybe help each other out a little bit here to gain a couple spots.
Yeah, Larkin set himself up nicely because when Welter went down the inside of Isa Kush, Larkin just waited, bided his time, and once those two got a bad exit, he pounced on Isa Kush, so good move there from Larkin to put himself up into second place. Also, Jamie lost 2 positions on the left hand, not quite sure if he made a mistake, but here goes Larkin, goes up into P1 ahead of Welter at the early stage of the race.
Yeah, gets the move done well before the braking zone to take the lead of this Grand Prix, and it's been a stellar lap 5 from Larkin
it's only
here.
lap 5 as well.
Yeah,
only lap 5.
That's the thing. I wanted to make that point, and I saw it was only lap 5, but already so much action going on. Oh, and that's Calvin, who's out of this Grand Prix. What happened to Calvin here? I'll jump on board with.
Odd place to crash, really. He's parked before. I'm not quite sure if he bounced off the wall or something like that. Go aboard Campbell, see if he's still there.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Oh no, that car's already gone. Maybe we'll see some debris that can give us an idea.
There's skid marks. It looked like he just crashed in the wall and bounced off it. So
possibly,
yeah,
maybe just missing a braking point. Possibly could have been the cause of that. But unfortunately for Calvin, it's an early end to this Grand Prix here. Thankfully for Calvin, it is preseason, so the points. The points are like those in whose line is it anyways? They don't really matter here. But still, very unfortunate to have an early end to the race, regardless of the situation. But that also brought out the safety car here on lap 6. So Jamie, I think we'll get a little bit of a breather here and maybe get to take in and discuss a little bit more the first 5 laps, because my goodness, lots of action there and a little bit of chaos as well.
Yep, indeed. I'm just looking at the pit stop strategy. So you can see Coxey, Tinkan, RJ, and Manukin in those positions, pitting onto a brand new set of softs. I don't think this could go to the end, so they have to make another pit stop, hoping for another safety car as well. So both Alfa Romeos, if they do pit, they're going to have to double stack. As you can see, AJ just leaving a little bit of a gap to his teammate. I think these guys are definitely going to pit.
Oh no, and Wouter with a rare mistake under the safety car there. I think he was hoping.
Spun?
Yeah, he spun on that, essentially right at that same corner that Calvin crashed out on. I think he just clipped that sausage curb on the inside and went for a little bit of a spin. Maybe hoping that we didn't catch that, but sorry, Wouter. It was there.
So Mark takes the lead of this race then. And he's on the medium compound tyres, so it's too early for his strategy to go to the pit lane.
Yep, and you can see the two Alfa Romeos did end up double stacking, and very unfortunate for AJ as well that Isaac Kush did have to be held up just a little bit to let the traffic through before getting released, which is a little bit more of a time loss for AJ. who's gonna come out, I think, a little bit further down the order than he was hoping for here. Currently in 7th, but I'm thinking maybe down into 8th, depending on what the drag race looks like between himself and Campbell.
Very smart tactic there from Coxey and Tinkan. Remember that I said they both pitted on the soft compound tyres. They're back on the mediums on the brand new set. They wanted to get rid of that, use one of the both compounds so they can cross out that rule, so they can go back on the medium compound tyres and go to the end of those tyres. So a very smart decision there from Coxey and Tinkan.
Yeah, in best case, you've got a fresh set of mediums you can go on. In worst case, if you did use them in qualifying, well, a set of medium tires with maybe 1 lap of wear, especially here at this track, really isn't much of anything to worry about either. It might as well just be a fresh set. But I'm also looking a little interestingly at Killer Blue, who's running in 5th place right now, but the only driver who's opted not to go for a set of medium tires here one way or the other. He's actually fitted a set of hard tires. So we'll have to see how that's going to work out for Killer Blue once we do go back racing. They're definitely going to make it to the end of the Grand Prix, but is the pace going to be there on that set of hard tires, knowing that everybody else can, I would think in theory, should be able to go to the end on those medium tires as well?
Very chested from Killer Blue then. He's got a lot of defending to do from those medium runners behind him. I know it's only pre-season, but if the top 2, Aston Martin, will Mark let Larkin go? I don't think so, because it's only pre-season, but has he got the pace to keep them behind?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think Mark's going to let him go. I think Mark wants to show the world he's got the pace as well here. So I think we're probably going to see maybe a little bit of an inter-team rivalry here going into turn 1, I would think. Especially, it's pre-season, so I think everybody just... The teams, they're there, but I don't think they matter all that much other than who do you share a pit box with when your pit stops do come.
I think I remember AJ picking up a penalty, now he's lost it, so it must have been a 5-second time penalty. That's probably why he's dropped further behind Jamie. Probably a 5-second time penalty from somewhere. He managed to serve in the pit lane, so that's gone, but he has to make up ground now by overtaking Jamie and Killer Blue to try and get back in his fight for the lead.
Yeah, we'll see how that'll play out, but at least, I mean, it's good for AJ knowing he doesn't have that penalty that's lurking over his shoulders, knowing that it's there and having to keep that in mind. And as of right now, actually, if I take a look,
he was ignoring yellow flags.
What was that?
AJ got a penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so he managed to get that removed in the pit stops.
Yeah, that is very crucial for him. But I'm noticing XL Tin Can has a drive-through penalty as well. He's down in 13th, but I'm not too sure how he would have gotten that one, unless possibly speeding during the delta of the safety car before that delta disappeared. Really, the only reason I can think for it.
Look at that, it's lasted by 1, 2, 3. I swear I saw Mark just hit the back of the safety car there. A bit of contact made between Mark and the safety car. He's getting very close, but hopefully he hasn't broke his full wing. That was so close between those two.
Take a look. I mean, hopefully he hasn't. It doesn't look like he's got much visual damage here on that front wing, very crucially. But also, safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So, for lap 9, we will be going back to racing, and I'm excited here. I mean, safety car kind of gets a little bit boring, a little bit long after a while, and you can see Mark really trying to get the as much heat as he can into those medium tires, sliding around a couple of these corners here, but leaving space, allowing the safety car to get into the pits. The question now is, when is he going to decide to go? He does get on the power here on the penultimate corner. I think he is truly going now as he crosses the line, and we are back to green flag racing, heading into turn 1 and 2 to start lap 9. It's been a very good start from Mark, all considered, building a good gap between himself and his teammate, and you can see the rest of the field trying to follow suit, trying to chase down already. Drone and RJ switching positions. Drone Visser gaining a spot here up into 14th as he's restarting his charge. Pease and Dan going side by side here through turn 4, and that was Pease getting the overtake done as he's up into 9th and now chasing down Campbell here for P8. So these two drivers seem to have found each other once again here on the grid in 8th and 9th now, instead of that P1, P2 that we were seeing previously.
Dan left the door open and Pease just went through, took the opportunity that was behind Dan's McLaren teammate Campbell. Like you said, they were both had their mistakes, and they're both back together on the same piece of the racetrack. Meanwhile, AJ is so close behind Jamie, and I wonder, will he try and go for it down the inside into the heavy brick zone at the end of sector 2? So close behind, but will he go for it? Is he close? Oh, Jamie now breaks himself, and there goes AJ, and Campbell's all over the back of AJ as well. Jamie rejoins down in P10, P9.
Yep, alongside
side by side with Pease. Yeah.
Yep, alongside Pease still now, and that was Pease getting the overtake done. That's where the damage ends, at least for now, for Jamie, as he's able to slot in 9th. Although you saw very close to getting involved with that battle between Dan and Coxie as well, right behind them. But I mean, for AJ, I think he did exactly what he needed to do there. I think he wasn't planning on going for the overtake, but I think just his presence there was enough to maybe get Jamie to think twice. Possibly just break that little bit later, missing his breaking point, and the rest is history, as we saw. But now AJ continuing the charge now, already up on the back of Killer Blue, as I thought he was going to go for it through turn 4, but remaining behind. But you can see this right here, I think the difference between AJ on the medium tires and Killer Blue on those hard tires. At least in this stage of the race, this should be an overtake from AJ, possibly down that back straight there that we saw the move one lap ago.
Yeah, it would be he has to get past Killer Blue as quickly as he can, because he's already 2 seconds behind. Isa Kush is Killer Blue, so AJ then, while he's got the opportunity, he needs to get past as soon as he can. And will he make the move down into the heavy breaker zone? I think he's got to. Really can't afford to be held up, because he's got a whole train of cars right behind him. This time it's the outside. Who's late on the brakes? It looks like it's Killer Blue, but AJ with the momentum around the outside. He has the inside line for the next corner, but here comes Campbell. Will he take advantage as well? Here we go then. Down the inside he goes to the next corner, left-hander, but he's still there alongside him on the right-hand side. He has the outside line for the next corner. There he goes then. But here comes Total Pease, because Killer Blue gets out of shape, and Total Peace takes advantage, so he's lost 3 positions in the space of a few corners, has Killer Blue on those hard compound tyres. But DRS then is now enabled as Tinkan into the pits he goes. Larkin is right behind his teammate Mark, would love to get past him on those fresher medium compound tyres. There he goes then, into the lead he goes, and he's got 1 car in between him and Walter.
Yeah, very crucial for Larkin getting the overtake done on his teammate that I think was going to leave him room, but still battling suit. But I think they got bigger fish to fry here. As you can see, Wouter was right up on the back of Mark there. And I think trying to cheekily hoo-hoo, that was close there between Wouter and Marcus. Mark went a little bit wide. They make contact wheel to wheel there, and it looks like Wouter does get the overtake done. And for Mark, just unfortunately, that car on the outside, seeing those walls creep in very quickly there on that left-hand side. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just trying to stay on track and not just completely hit the wall there at 200 miles an hour or so. But now Isaac Kush, I think he's seeing an opportunity here on the left-hand side. What is the inside going to become the outside line here of the corner? They're still alongside, but it looks like Isaac Kush is able to get the overtake done there through that section of corners, as he's up into 3rd, and from leading the race about a lap ago down to 4th. Maybe not a lap to remember for Mark here in that in that Aston Martin.
He'll be on the soft steering wheel, Mark, and good move from Isa Kush. He knew he had to make the move done, didn't want to get stuck behind Mark too long, knowing that those two ahead of him, Larkin and Walter, will pull away. Yellow flags, and that is Jeroen Visser, who has crashed. And where is that? Will that be a safety car, I wonder? That is, no, it's in the pit lane, I think. Yeah, it's in the pit lane, so it's all good. No safety car will be enabled. Oh, I think there's a battle going on between AJ and Campbell, the side-by-side now. AJ has the inside line, and there he goes, and he takes 5th place away. Or will he? Campbell, will he go down the inside? No, he won't. He slots into 6th place. He's got a Total Pease to contend with, and good move there from AJ, who had to move himself up into 5th place. Next target is Mark on a 7-lap older medium tyres.
Yeah, so we'll see how the AJ and this and the gang, I guess I'll say, are gonna close. Is these three cars, AJ, Campbell, and Pease, they've just been inseparable ever since this safety car restart. As they're charging up the field, and you can see a little bit of battles amongst themselves, but I think for the most part they might just be content with sort of helping each other out and trying to close the gap up to the top four here. Who's well, Mark, of course, like we mentioned, who's closer. Now Nathan JB and Killer Blue having a little bit of a battle here, and you can see Killer Blue, at least for now, those hard tires are not working the way he was hoping for, as he's moving the wrong way down. He's moving the wrong way through the field, heading down instead of up like he was hoping for. Currently down in 11th, you can see going wide. That allowed Dan to get ahead, and his Angel Viking getting ahead as well, as Killer Blue down in 13th now, and possibly starting to feel the pressure from rotation.
Walter got ahead of Larkin, and Campbell has got ahead of AJ. AJ was derated down the straight. There was no way he could defend. Coxey has got past Jamie 1 up into 8th place he goes, and like you said, those hard compound tyres not doing any favours for Killer Blue whatsoever. He went from 5th, now he's down from 14th, sadly for him. And Total Pease is all over the back of AJ, desperately trying to get past, trying to make amends for his race earlier with that contact with Nathan JB. But yeah, now Walter leads ahead of Larkin. Looks like these three are having a fight now for the lead, just these three. Mark's dipping away, and he's edging towards Campbell, or Campbell's edging towards him for 4th place.
Yep, and very crucial for Campbell that he was able to finally get ahead of AJ and hold on to that position. I know they were battling amongst. They were battling with each other for the last little bit, but now that Campbell's been able to essentially release himself, he can really chase after Mark. And now that's Pease and AJ going side by side. That's Pease on the outside, turns into the inside. Yeah, it looked like there was a little bit of contact, but didn't see much of it as I got the worst possible camera angle there. But Pease does get the overtake done. I thought AJ was going to go for a switchback there, but just unable to make it work.
Yeah, so basically, I was aboard with Pease's rear wing, so basically Pease went to the acute angle, carry less speed, and AJ carry more speed, and yeah, you know what happens then. AJ connected with the rear of Pease. Hopefully he hasn't got full big damage. If he does, it'll be very minor. And there goes Campbell then. He's on the back of Mark, caught him very quickly, and yeah, pulls alongside to go down the inside into turn 2. Nice move there from Campbell. Next up is Pease trying to overtake. Oh, will Mark come back? He's coming back down the inside to go side by side. Mark had a very good launch coming out of turn 3. Into turn 4 we go. He's got past ahead of Campbell again. That's a good move, but Campbell sends it down the inside. Wow, what a move, but Mark has to go off the track now. They're side by side again, and Campbell slots into P5. He thought he had that move done, but Mark came back at him, and that was a fantastic move from Mark there.
Yeah, and very crucially for Campbell, he got the move done into turn 2, but just like you said, Mark had such a good launch, and with the lines, Mark was able to get that inside line through what's turn 3 and turn 4, which allows you to still carry the same amount of speed, but you're just taking a quicker line. You're just using less track to get to the next corner section there. So a good heads-up play and a good run from Mark to regain 4th position. But this battle is continuing right where it left off here, as now Campbell up into 4th, Mark down into 5th as the overtake was done. And yeah, Total Pease going for it, and even AJ Wuhan was looking to get involved here, very briefly 3 wide, but that since got sorted out because that corner section, hard enough to go side by side there, and I couldn't imagine 3 wide through sector 3.
Total Pease desperately trying to get past Mark because he don't want Campbell to pull away, and also AJ's right behind him, so he has to do it right now. Mark has DRS on the back of Campbell. As you can see Campbell pulling away. Mark's derated on the straight, and here goes Pease then. Will he get? Walter has got a 3-second time penalty. Will Mark stick it in there? Yes, he will. They're side by side. Pease has to go off the track there, but he's still got a move done. AJ's turn now to try and overtake Mark for P6. Mark defends the inside line from AJ, but will AJ try and go for the switchback, try and get a much better exit? No, he doesn't, and he has to stay behind him for the time being. His next possible overtaking is at the heavy braking zone towards the end of the DRS straight for the second one.
And what a battle this is here between these 3 drivers, and you can see Mark this time around taking that optimal line through what is sector 2, not going too wide on those exits. So really not allowing AJ even an opportunity to take it. But let's see here, AJ using some of his battery here to try to get that little boost. Makes the move towards the inside. It's gonna be close here as they're side by side. A slight tap of the wall from AJ, but he's still making it work. They're still side by side with one another here. And as AJ gets the inside line, it's gonna become the outside, and it looks like, I thought Mark kept that position, but no. AJ, very good job keeping his nose in there, keeping up with Mark and getting the overtake done here, as now we start lap 16 with AJ in 6th, Mark in 7th, as he's trying to close out the P's, and now Nathan JB is out of this Grand Prix, and that looks to be in the pit lane from what I can see there on the minimap.
What about Mark goes back down the inside of AJ, he goes a bit deep in the braking zone.
And that's AJ!
Oh, he crashed into, I think he connected with Mark, then lost traction. That's a shame for AJ and Mark there. They have such a good battle towards sector 2 and sector 3 the last lap, and now AJ, did he get, I was above Mark, it looks like AJ just slid into the rear of Mark, then into the water he went. That's a massive shame, but yeah, it's pre-season racing, it's hard racing but fair, and yeah.
Yeah, and you
what
saw
more can you ask?
For AJ, just unfortunate for him, he's got a little bit of end plate damage on that front wing. And Jamie, as I'm sure you know as well as I do, here in this installment on F1 2021, even just losing end plate, you'd lose so much downforce on that car. It's essentially going to force AJ to have to take an unscheduled pit stop here to get that fixed.
Yep, indeed. But I love the way Mark was coming back though, despite being on all the time as Jeroen has left the session, so he stayed around long enough to watch the racing. But away he goes then, and he'll practice in for the next few races. But still an interesting battle going on with top 3. Walter's still leading, but he has a 3-second time penalty hovering over his name. Issa Kush is in the DRS, trying to save the ERS he used a few laps ago. He's just hunting down Campbell for P4, so that's the battle going on. Mannequin is behind Jamie 1. And there goes Issa Kush. Will he try and make a move on Walter? He's got more ERS, and there he goes then. Just the overspeed he has, there's no way Walter can defend. And there he is. Down the inside he goes into turn 2. Can he make the corner? Yes, he can. And AJ has retired in the pit lane, so I don't think that'll cause a safety car. And he's left the session as well. Mannequin has overtaken Jamie 1 for P7. I haven't mentioned him much in the AlphaTauri. I think he get knocked out of Q1. In fact, it's not even full qualifying. Sorry about that. He started P15 and he's up into P7.
Yeah, so just, flew below the radar, did, Ninja Viking, but having a good race here, up into 7th right now with that battle after overtaking Jamie in here, I believe, as he's still very much so keeping up with Mark is what I was trying to say, but they're all going to have their work cut out for him to try to catch up that next little group, which is Pease and Campbell, who are 5 seconds behind this lead pack of cars, as now Wouter down that back straight with DRS retaking the lead of this race from Isaac Kush, and you can see Isaac trying that switchback move that we spoke about earlier, but unfortunately not working out for him here in this stage, as he's going to remain in 2nd, but still has a good amount of battery in the tank and should have DRS to allow him to try to get the lead right back down as they head once again down towards turn 2.
Let's see if he'll make a move. Major Viking try to move down the inside of Mark. It's the heavy brake reserve. It's all good. That Mark's in the pit lane. He'll go to the soft compound tyres. Issa Kush then makes his way back up into P1. Has a slight lock up but still makes the corner. Major Viking up into P6. He tried to go down the inside of Mark but couldn't quite make it. And Mark's on the soft compound tyres now. So let's see where he rejoins. Down in P10, and let's see what he could do from there. Who will win this race? Will it be Issa Kush, Walter, or Larkin? Unlikely Walter due to that 3-second time penalty, but he'll still fight no matter what.
Yep, still anything can happen here. Lap 18 out of 27. We're under 10 laps to go, 9 laps to go actually, if my math is serving me right here. But, of course, for Wouter, he's got a 3-second time penalty on the board, so that doesn't quite help his chances, but we could still see penalties fall to the likes of Larkin, for Isaac Kush, as well as with the battle these 3 cars have been having here for what seems to be the entirety of this race. Anything could happen. And of course, it's preseason, less in Division 1, but there still is a little bit of that rust factor here. Maybe drivers not into the car, they're used to driving here as well, which could play a little bit of an effect here leading towards the end of the race, but we'll see how it's all playing out. But for now, Izat in the lead as he was able to keep that P1, was able to defend from Wouter down that back straight, but we'll see how it's going to play out here. Now with much more speed with DRS, Wouter taking the lead right back as he for now leads this Grand Prix once again.
He's key switching. I bet Larkin is not enjoying this because he's stuck in P3. There's nothing he can do about it. P1 and P2. This is the scenario where in other tracks as well, not just this one, where P1 and P2 they just battle. You're stuck in P3, can't do anything about it. You do that DRS trade, so he's in the worst position out of all of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing for Larkin. He's gonna have to possibly hope for a mistake or hope that he just gets nails a couple of these exits at just the right time compared to the likes of Izat and Wouter, just to try to get a jump and get involved here. But for now, like we've seen, Larkin just having to sit in third, keeping up with the other two drivers, but just can't quite find that extra step to get an overtake done here. And it seems like approaching the braking zone here, lap 19 is no different. Let's see, other battles on track.
Peas. I keep an eye on those two because those two are close together, having a good battle for themselves. P4, P5, good recovery drive from both of them, despite having their misfortunes early on in this race, recovering up to P4. Peas collided with Nathan, and Campbell just losing on his own, but they've recovered well, and they're in P4 and P5. Still 7 laps to go, so anything can happen. Mark on the fresh soft compound tyres has overtaken Tin Can for P10. Jamie 1 has picked up a 3-second time penalty.
Yep, so they're starting to fall a little bit here. Much more time penalties on the board as compared to what we saw. Carmentelis and Coxey going side by side here. Just about, you can see Coxey trying to head back towards the inside line of that corner, but did not work out for him as Carmentelis able to hang on to that P13 for now. But with Coxey on that fresh set of soft tires after his scheduled pit stop here, he should be able to get the overtake done, I would think, with DRS here on lap 20 heading down towards turn 2.
7 laps to go. There's still quite a few battles going on between first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and Major King all the way down to rotation. Mark is 18 seconds behind rotation, so with these 7 laps, I doubt he'll get close to them, despite the big deficit. Oh, here goes Isa Kush then for the lead of the race on Wouter. The lead has changed hands as well, and yet again. Yeah, like I said, Larkin must be hating this, being stuck down there in third place and can't do anything about it. Campbell's very close behind Pease, but can't make that move down in the braking zone.
Yeah, but he also for Larkin, as much as he might not be really enjoying this for the sake of his position on track, he knows that Wouter has a 3-second time penalty, so as long as he just keeps to what he needs to do, I think either way, if he just sticks with these other two drivers, he's got, minimally a P2 in the bag, and quite possibly could be better, depending on if, with Wouter and Isaac Kush having a battle, if Isaac maybe makes a misstep, gets a second penalty of his own, that really opens the door for Larkin there to take that win. But now Campbell and Pease, though, looking to switch positions. Campbell got ahead, but they're essentially side by side through into turn 4. Pease gets the inside line here in this braking zone of turn 5. They make contact, and that's Pease into the wall, and he's out of this Grand Prix. Yellow flags here, and yes, it is a full caution safety car here on lap 21 of this Grand Prix. And all right, this is going to change a few things, I think.
Oh, that battle between Campbell and Pease was very good, but Pease hit the inside curb and he bounced into Campbell, and there's nothing he can do about it. I don't think it's either of their faults, it's just a pure racing accident. You can't really go, you can go too wide, but I think one of them has to go off the track like we've seen recently. But yeah, that's a shame for Pease. There's only Pease tested, but he can come back stronger in the when the actual season starts. So yeah, safety car scenario then. Who hasn't got a penalty? Major Viking in P5 hasn't got a penalty. He could find himself in P3, because once they all bunch together, Constantino fed together, and he needs to stay within the 3-second time penalty of Campbell and Walter. And looks like they're going into the pit lane. Isa, Kush, Walter, and Larkin are in the pit lane. Very interesting choice. Campbell's in the pit lane. I think all are going to go to the pit lane. Who is most likely to stay? I think Mark is, but Mark's in P9. He could change to a brand new set if he wanted to. Major Keen stays out, but HS to Lee. There's always one driver who stays out, and that is Jamie. Jamie then will probably take the lead of this race due to being a very long pit stop. And there he goes then. He will move up into P1. He'll be a troublemaker for those guys behind on a brand new set of sauce, because when you put a cat amongst the pigeons, it don't really go well. But let's see how Jamie 1 handles it then. Have people on a brand new set of sauce right behind him. Safety car will probably go in the end of lap 23 or 24, and he will have that to defend. Might not be DRS towards the end of this race, so let's see how Jamie 1 handles this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see though how Jamie 1 on his 15-lap-old, relatively used medium tires. How can he fare against the likes of Izat, Wouter, Larkin, all on fresh set of soft tires? And you do got to think for Larkin as well, having just being in that spot in no man's land now, as much as there's going to be no DRS, it kind of gives him a bit of a fresh go here. If he can time the restart to maybe snag a position or two here off that safety car restart once we do go green, especially with Jamie and possibly holding some drivers back as well. And also, since we were mentioning it, I did notice Mark did actually take a pit stop here to put on a fresh set. So he decided to pit as well and not stay on those 2-lap old soft tires. And actually, even everybody else who was formerly running softs took that pit stop. So everybody on a fresh set of softs, other than Jamian, who opted for track position to stay out on those mediums.
Yeah, but it'd be very interesting to see what he could do then. Will he be able to defend those guys behind? Will he pick up a podium? Who knows? But Major Viking, I was pointing out, hasn't got a penalty. He could be finding himself on the podium if he keeps it nice and clean and could stay within a 3-second gap of both Campbell and Walter.
Yeah, but I'm taking a look here at the penalties, like you were mentioning. Ninja Viking in a great spot, Larkin in a great spot, and Izat, of course, in a great spot as well with no penalties. Everybody else having, well, for the most part, 3 seconds of penalties. Coxie with 6, Killer Blue with 9, and XLRJ with 12 seconds to his name here. So that is the situation for the penalties, but for the most part, most of these drivers are sitting on 1 3-second time penalty that will be added on to their finishing times here. But with the safety car being bunched up, it's going to be really interesting to see how this is all going to play out once we do get that cue to go back racing. Hopefully at the end of this lap, but quite possibly as well at the end of next lap. Knowing a little bit how the safety car tends to operate here in this game and the last few games. I know it likes to stay out for about 3 laps unless everybody's caught up, but looking at where RJ is on track, I think we're going to have that extra lap of safety car here, and it should be coming at the end of lap 24, I would think.
You see, with a track like this, and with penalties very easy to collect, and safety cars are most likely to appear. This is people's worst scenarios, because if safety car comes out, let's say now, and it could be any track as well, it could ruin somebody's race if you have a penalty, knowing that you put in the hard work, you've been in the top 3 the whole race and pull it away from everybody. All of a sudden the safety car appears at the wrong time, and you have to pull out a 3-second gap, which is most unlikely because you only got a few laps left to go. That could put you all the way down the board. I've seen it happen to loads of people before when they had the potential to be on the podium or win the race.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, my counterpoint to that is, well, it's part of racing.
Did Mannequin pick up a penalty? Because it says Campbell has 5-second time penalty with a collision with Mannequin. Now, what happened there? Did he hit the back of him or something like that? I'm not quite sure. Hopefully there's no damage to either cars, especially for Mannequin, because he's running in P6 there, being clean on penalties. Yeah, I agree with you there on that counterpoint, Eric.
Yeah, and I'm looking. It doesn't look like Manja Viking had got a penalty for that. But Larkin got a 5-second penalty, though. That's added to his time. So really unfortunate for Larkin, as I think must have been between Campbell and Larkin there that they came into contact. But
I don't know why I said Mannikin. Sorry about that. They were just so
no,
close together.
No worries. I was all focused on Ninja Viking there, looking to see if that penalty was going to show up. But I just now noticed that XL Larkin has a 5-second penalty that's added to his time. But also, safety car is coming in here, so with Jamian leading the charge, picking a similar restart spot to Mark on the previous, but now very quickly, I think not having a final corner to remember, as he's pushed to the inside of turn 1, and already Isaac Kush making quick work as he takes the lead of this Grand Prix, with Wouter a very distant, all considered, half a second behind, and this is probably worst case scenario for Wouter and everybody else, knowing Isaac Kush already got ahead, and he's nearly got a full second lead already.
Yeah, something's happened to Campbell. Wouter has overtaken Jamie Ward. Campbell has got foot wind damage, maybe the back of hitting Larkin, so that's why he's dropping all the way down to P14 there. I wonder what happened with him, because he was pushing his teammate all the way around the outside, but in all honesty, in all factors, he got a penalty, foot wind damage, so that's why he's dropping all the way down to P14 there. But Jamie Ward dropping off very, very quickly on those old medium compound tyres. There's Larkin all over the back of him, and Larkin's let's be trying to overtake Jamie Ward as well. Mannikin looking very good at P5 there.
Yep, let's see. He's got a little bit of a gap. He's got to keep that within 1 second here, because he might be able to get at least a lap or two of DRS. We can see Larkin stuck behind Jamian. But these top two now have started to run away from the rest of the field. But very crucially, it almost looks like the damage is already done here, as Isaac Kush a full second ahead of Wouter. And now as Larkin does finally get by Jamian, he can start trying to go on a charge, build a gap himself. Ninja Viking, so crucial for him to get by Jamian here to try to better his finishing position, but just can't quite seem to keep up there down into turn 2. So he's going to be stuck behind him in 5th here for the time being.
Very important for Manu Viking to get past Jamie as quickly as he can, so he doesn't lose that connection to Larkin, because obviously those fresh soft compound tyres, he can start to pull away from Jamie, and also Manukin needs to follow so he can ensure he can stay within that 3-second gap of Larkin to he's actually got a 5-second penalty due to contact with Campbell. But can Manukin get a podium here? Who knows? Walter's reduced that gap from 1 second to 9/10, so if DRS is enabled, they'll have that chance to try and get closer to Isaac Kush. Jamie Ward struggling in the corner, you can see him sliding through there. Bit of a wobbly exit. Rotation is all over the back of Manu Viking. Jamie Ward's gone off the track, and there goes Manu Viking. They go side by side now. They've got to keep it clean. Rotation's also lurking in the background there. As you can see, then on the straight, rotation, he won't make it 3 wide. He's too smart not to do that, because contact will be made. But Manu Viking needs to go down the inside. He does, but Jamie Ward stays around the outside, goes off the track. He has 3 wide. I think somebody has spun.
Yeah, that was Jamie in that spun and made contact with Dan in the background there. I think just Jamie and making contact with the I believe maybe the rear wheel of Ninja Viking there, going for a little bit of a spin, and through no fault of Jamian's fault, just spinning in the worst possible spot as he was trying to just get back on track, save the car. Made contact with Dan as well in that McLaren, which just made the situation a little worse.
There's rotation on Manu Viking then, up into P4. That's what happens when you go 3 wide. It's not going to end well, especially at a tight track like this. But rotation then is up into P4. Manu Viking still got a chance of a podium, because remember, Larkin has got that 5-second penalty as well over his name. Killer Blue right behind.
But Ninja Viking,
inside goes Killer Blue.
And Ninja Viking took a 3-second time penalty for himself, as Killer Blue and Coxie side by side with one another here. It looks like Killer Blue is able to hang on. Ooh, and Coxie nearly losing the back end of that car through the corner, trying to get the jump on Killer Blue there. That's since calmed down just a little bit, but I would expect Coxie to come right back at Killer Blue here.
Lost traction, he got on the curb, lost traction, and he's going to drop all the way down to P10 Sally for him. He was doing a fantastic job. He was trying to set himself up to try and overtake rotation using that DRS, but a bit optimistic there on the throttle. and Heejin well ahead of Ambition ahead of Heejin there, and just dropped out the exit, sadly for him.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Manja Viking, really not having a penultimate lap to remember. First takes that 3-second time penalty and then gets the car spun there, like you had mentioned. So from bad to worse, as he's down in 10th position. No wing damage though, from what we can see. So it's not going to make things worse for him with that pit stop, as he comes around the final corner to start his final lap. But looking back at the front here on this final lap of the Grand Prix, Isaac Kush leading the way, and with that 2-second gap, no penalties on the board. It looks like it's his race to lose here. With you can see Wouter in the Red Bull in the distance, but I don't know if he's going to be able to close up enough to get the overtake done. And definitely not enough here to get the overtake and build a 3-second gap, barring a crazy end to this race. But I guess we'll have to see how it's going to play out here. But like I was saying, it looks like this race is in Isaac Kush's hands to win or lose here, as he's heading down the back straight now. Only about a sector to go in this race before he can just breathe a little bit easier here.
Yeah, very good job there for Isaac Kush, the only one in this race not to pick up a penalty. Since he overtaken Walter before the safety car came out, just managed to get the jump on Jamie 1, pull away, and yeah, controlled the lead ever since then. Coxey and Commentless have fighted over P7. I think that's done now. Coxey up into P7. Meanwhile, Isaac Kush then, right in the final corner, and he will win pre-season. Very good drive from him. Walter will finish in P2. Larkin will finish in P3. Rotation comes across the line by finish in P3. No, P4, 7 tenths away. Killer Blue in P6. Coxey P6. Commentless P6. And they all switch due to penalties.
You can see, I mean, I'm looking Killer Blue, and I think that might have been rotation just crossing the line in style there. Causing a little bit of a slow up at the line, but of course it's the end of the race. It's all in good fun here, not affecting too much. But as we've only got the last couple drivers here to cross the line, the two McLarens that at least in qualifying look to have so much pace, just getting a little bit of bad luck here and there, finishing in 12th and 13th. But of course for Dan, he did set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so. I mean, he does have that to bring home at the very least, but still a little bit of a disappointing race there for that McLaren constructor here in this first preseason event.
Yes, indeed.
But
there is an hour champion from last season up there in P1. Can he continue his form, or will anybody be able to dethrone him? Hopefully, the next few races will be as good as preseason.
Yeah, I mean, here's to hoping. We do have our, I mean, it's the end of the first preseason race. We do have another one coming for you all. Of course, that's going to be next week. If I remember correctly, I believe we take the Shanghai. It's going to be the Chinese Grand Prix for the second test race. And, of course, China always brings in a great race, at least in my opinion. Always exciting to see here. But, of course... That's the end of preseason 1. The champion of season 5, Isaac Kush, continuing his strong form here in the preseason as he takes the win from, look at that, 3rd place on the grid. There's a method to that madness there, from starting in P3 in Russia. Wouter in 2nd from 4th, XL Larkin from 7th up into 3rd, and I mean, gotta hand it to Mark. 16th on the grid. We said he was a driver to look out for. Managed a P4 out of it in the end. So good drive from Mark, all considered, keeping with it. With rotation rounding out the top 5. Definitely happy with that finish, I'm sure. Carmentalist, Meja Viking, Coxey, Killer Blue, and Jamie in it rounding out the top 10 with RJ, Dan, Tin Can, and Campbell, the top 14, the end of the finishing drivers. For P's, AJ, Nathan JB, Jerome Visser, and Calvin. Not the first preseason race they were hoping for here, with a DNF to their names, finishing in 15th to 19th respectively here. What a race that was. I think, of course, given it's preseason, I'm not going to worry too much about the interviews, but I am going to try to bring them, well, not bring them back, but we're going to get back to business as usual once the season does start with those post-race interviews. But I mean, for now, Jamie, do you have any final words before we round off the stream here?
It's been a very good race. I enjoyed it. Pre-season was good, and the Chinese Grand Prix, like you said, hopefully brings us more action, and hopefully after that we'll have the the proper season. See what happens then, and be in the commentary box with you for the full season, monkeys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to be in the booth with you here once again. It's going to be great to have a full season together, and I mean, of course, thank you for joining me in the booth here on these a Sunday afternoon for me, a Sunday evening for yourself. But I mean, this is all we've got for you here today, ladies and gentlemen. Like we said, it's the end of the preseason race 1, testing grounds of round 1. We've got the Chinese Grand Prix next week for testing grounds round 2, preseason race number 2. Then, of course, the final rosters, the official team selection, and 2 weeks after that, we take to the Red Bull Ring for the true official start of season 6. But still a bit of ways to go there, but of course on behalf of Jamie and myself and everybody here at ISRL Esports, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next week for preseason race number 2. Have yourselves a fantastic evening, everybody.